Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Simple Money Guys podcast, where we make money simple for you. I'm Greg, and as always, I'll be joined by John and Ryan. Join us today as we discuss some of the most essential money tips that'll help you take full control of your financial future. If you haven't yet, please give us a follow on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at the Simple Money Guys, and please leave us a review on Apple and Spotify podcasts. It helps us a tremendous amount.
Welcome back to another episode of the Simple Money Guys podcast, where we make money simple for you. As always, my name is John at Johnny Finance.
I'm Ryan, the Money CEO on social.
And unfortunately, Greg is not here today, but we are going to have a great episode talking about non-negotiables in our budget. I think it's super important to realize what you care about, what you want to spend money on, and just understand like what is most important to you. So we're going to kick that off. Ryan, I had a question for you. You always say time is our most valuable asset. So what are some non-negotiables in your budget? I'm kind of setting you up right there.
Yeah.
What are some non-negotiables in your budget that you like to spend on?
Yeah, definitely. So if we're talking about time, I have quite a few things in my budget that save me time. So lawn care.
I'm there with you, dude.
Every week I pay this awesome family business to cut my yard $30 a week. Easiest $30 I'll ever spend. Sometimes I think every month we have, deep cleaning by cleaning lady. She comes by and does an amazing job. She spends the entire day cleaning the house. Amazing job. I think we spend like $120 or so on that, $150. I'm not sure, around that. And easiest money, because I'm not going to spend an entire day cleaning. First of all, I hate cleaning, and when you spend 10 hours doing that, I mean, it ends up not being exactly worth my time at that point.
Well, and I love the fact that you say that, because you got to look at it as a dollar per hour perspective.
Mm-hmm.
How, like you said, it may take 8 hours to clean your entire house. And if you're paying, let's just say $160 for easy math, do you value your time at $20 per hour? Do you value it less or more than $20 per hour?
Mm-hmm.
So if you value it more than $20 per hour, you should definitely be hiring that out.
Yeah.
So
I definitely outsource almost everything that's, that so I have a dollar figure that I, kind of have that I think my time is worth.
Yep.
And I outsource everything that, is worth less or exactly. So let's think. So a few other things, obviously investing is a big part of it. Giving, I don't like cooking. I hate cooking. But a lot of times Laura is really busy. And she doesn't always cook either. So we both like stuff that's convenient as far as food goes. So a lot of times we'll get pre-made meals, or a service that makes it easier to have our meals ready to go. So that cuts down a lot of time for cooking. Obviously we pay more for it. It'd be a lot cheaper to cook, but it takes time every single day. So things like that. I mean, anything really as far as convenience goes, I tend to pay for.
Yeah, no, I love it. And I can't blame you for it, just because, when you're young and you're hustling, you want to do everything yourself. And this was, just an anecdote for me. When I first got my house, I was like, I'm going to mow my lawn every Saturday morning. I'm going to do it perfectly. And then after a while, I was like, this is not worth my time. It probably took an hour to mow my lawn, but I ended up finding someone who does it for $35. So granted, they're paying $35 per hour essentially, but that, to me, it's worth it. I don't have to worry about, getting up and mowing the lawn. I can focus on higher dollar per hour tasks. And I think that's the mindset you got to have as an entrepreneur. You only have so much time in the day. So you need to be willing to spend on conveniences that essentially have a return on investment. You know what I mean? If you can hire out a lower dollar per hour task, and you make more than that, then that's a good investment right there.
Yeah, definitely. Like honestly, I kind of outsource. I don't like doing maintenance. I don't have much maintenance, but if something needs to be done around the house, I typically hire someone to do it, and it
Uh-huh.
costs more, but it's also 5 hours I didn't have to spend on YouTube trying to figure stuff out.
Yeah.
So it's worth, $50 or $100, and I didn't have to buy 7 tools that I'm gonna use twice and
Yeah.
actually fix it. So like I'm actually genuinely curious like how much people actually use tools, because I have like 4 tools. I have like, a hammer and like screwdriver and wrench.
Uh-huh.
Like, I have like the basic stuff. I have a drill, but like I don't need every tool to do every job. So that's nice too. I don't have to spend money on that. And it's just honestly just paying someone, they do it right. I'm not gonna, because here's the thing: you go in there, you do something, and you screw it up, then that's more time, that's more money you got to spend doing it. So I tend to outsource a lot of stuff. So people might be like, "Oh, you're spending more money. Why are you wasting money?" I think I'm actually saving money because I can go and try to find ways to earn more money at a higher rate than that. So that's
Yeah.
kind of my approach.
No, and it's a great approach. I think that's, I mean this in the nicest way. You are that lazy entrepreneur. Like you want to outsource as much as you can. And again, we've talked about this. It's working smarter, not harder. Why it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't make sense to, work at a $10 per hour rate when you can just hire that out.
Mm-hmm.
Someone will do it right. You save
Yeah.
time and you can focus on the higher dollar per hour
Mm-hmm.
tasks. So that's definitely, yeah, one of those non-negotiables in our budget that we like to maybe splurge on. When
Mm-hmm.
I was just starting out, I would do everything myself. I tried to, do an oil change on my car. I tried to, fix everything in my home. But I quickly learned it's slowly not becoming worth my time because I
Mm-hmm.
am learning new skills and my dollar per hour is going up. I painted most of the interior of my house, and now I probably wouldn't do that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So, starting out, you may have to do those lower dollar per hour tasks.
Mm-hmm.
We all probably did, but as
Mm-hmm.
you grow up, as your income increases, you can slowly start to outsource some of those
Mm-hmm.
tasks. So I think that's a
Yeah.
good line item in your budget to have, is those time savers.
So there was one thing I did in my house, DIY, which was my theater room, because I kept getting ridiculous quotes just for labor. Labor was like in the range of like 3 to 4 thousand just to do
Wow.
it. And I was like, all right, it can't be that hard. So I ended up doing it myself. I still didn't like it, but I felt like the time that I spent doing it was worth it at that point.
Yeah.
Um, so like you just gotta, like for me, everything else that I've in my house I've almost outsourced. If it's like installing a camera or something like that, it takes 5 minutes. I'll do it.
Sure. Yeah.
But like for big projects, like I'll hire an electrician to do, like or you know, uh, a handyman, someone who
Right.
knows what they're doing. Because
Yeah.
honestly, it's not worth spending like, especially if you're super busy and you're spending, so much of your time working. You only have so much free time. So if you're spending 5 hours of that free time, um, you know, fixing something, it's just to me, it's not worth it. I'd
Yeah.
rather pay for it and have that, even if it's for my free time. I value my time so much more than, I guess, than that money that I'm, giving away. So.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think, yeah, yeah, I agree with you. And, some people would say, Ryan, you are crazy for spending, what is it, $120 a month on mowing the grass, but in the end, it saved you multiple hours of your time. So I think that's a
And I
good
don't own
investment.
a lawnmower. I don't gotta
No
do any maintenance
gas, no
on
maintenance.
it.
Yeah,
No, I don't gotta.
exactly.
I don't get sweaty for like 3 hours every week. Like
Come in, dude. I always get the worst allergies when I'm mowing the lawn. Like all
yeah,
that pollen just gets into you, and
yeah,
just yeah,
yeah.
it's the worst. So, no, that's a good point. What other kind of non-negotiables? Maybe not like time savers, but what do you like to splurge on? What do you like to spend on? Because we all have that guilty pleasure.
eating out, going to restaurants.
Yeah.
Honestly, we have a pretty big line item in our budget for going out and eating out, because I mean, it's just, we like to go try new restaurants, and just we like eating out. Like we'd have a lot more fun going to a restaurant than cooking. I personally hate cooking. I mentioned that before.
I,
Yeah,
I actually I like following you on Instagram because you're always at like a different barbecue restaurant or like a different like sushi, or you're
yeah,
just trying something new. I was like, oh, that's
yeah,
sweet. Like I want to try
yeah,
that if I come out to Houston. So
yeah.
yeah, that's something that you value. You know, you can't blame someone for spending on what they value.
Mhm.
This is I took this from Ramit Sethi's book. It's called I will teach you to be rich. But he talks about money dials in there where if you value something, you can turn up the money dial. So, you know, Ryan, you might value eating out. So you turn up that money dial in your line item budget. You know, it might be higher for you than other people. But I know that you own a Honda Accord, a 2008 Honda Accord. So your money dial on cars is all the way down because you don't have a car payment, you have low maintenance and all that. So you are able to splurge on eating out because you drive, you know, a used, paid off, reliable car.
Mhm.
So think about those money dials. Like, what do you want to turn up? Maybe it's travel. I know you like traveling, Ryan. I enjoy
Mhm.
traveling. That's one of the money dials I turn up a lot. And then I'm kind of like Ryan. I don't spend a lot on cars. I drive a paid off car. You know, I don't really care about clothes that much either. I buy, you know, cheap clothes from
Mhm.
Target or wherever. And so it just depends on spending on what you value. Like, what do you really enjoy?
Mhm.
Like, splurge on what you value and cut everything else is a big key.
Mhm. I think for me too, and Laura and I, my wife, I mean, we have a reasonable house. You know, it doesn't take up a huge portion of our income. You know, it's like 15%, I think, of our income. You know, we have, um, like I said, no car payments, no
Hmm.
debt. We invest, half of our income at least every month. A lot of
That's
times
awesome.
it's more, right? And so so it makes it allows us to spend this guilt free, right? So if I spend, $1,000 on restaurants in this month, I don't feel guilty because, I was, you know, it, I'm investing a lot too,
Yep.
and
Yep.
all my other finances are taken care of. But if I had 100K in credit card debt and I was doing that, I don't know that I don't know that I'd feel very, very, guilt free. I would
Right.
probably be worried and stressed. Um, but yeah, there's just some things, there's just some things you don't care about and you don't spend money on, and then other things you do care about. Travel is another big thing. When we go and travel, we like, going to nice places and staying at nice hotels and eating good food. So like that's something we'll spend money on too. But
Yeah.
I don't have a, like you said, I drive a cheap car, and um, I it makes life a lot easier.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I think that like the average payment of a new car is like $500 per month. You know, if you don't have a car payment at all, you can put that $500 per month into like two plane tickets, you know, for you and your spouse or whoever. You know, it's again spending on what you value. Like I don't have a car payment. I'm gonna go take a trip this weekend. You know, it's just it allows you to have a lot more freedom and you really start to enjoy more of those intentional spending
Mhm.
things, you know. I don't really care about clothing, so I shop at, you know, discount stores and
Yeah,
Goodwill
same.
and things like
Oh,
that, you
clothing
know.
I could care less about. Do you know where I get my most of my clothes? Like
TJ Maxx.
clothes. Like I like Ross,
Yeah, yeah,
Walmart, I get a bunch of black tees. Literally just
exactly.
black tees. Like I spend like no money on clothes.
It's like $12 for like a 5 pack of t-shirts.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like
Like
people are
I
spending
will
like a
never
hundred
spend
bucks for
more
one.
than, yeah, exactly. Shoes, I'll go to the outlets like once a year and get like
Yeah,
a couple pairs, and
yeah.
they'll last me and they're discounted. So like I don't really care about clothes. Some people do, and they'll spend more money on it, and that's cool.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, it all depends on what you want to spend on. You know, if that's material items, you like shoes, you like clothes, you know, that by all means spend on what you value. I was going to ask Ryan, do you spend on like maybe tech, like your phone or cameras or
Mm.
softwares? What do you think about that?
Yeah, on efficiency, like anything that'll make me more efficient, any
Hmm.
softwares, I definitely spend on.
Yeah.
Like it's worth a subscription, or
Right.
if
Right.
it makes my life easier and saves me time, I buy it usually.
Yeah. No, I love it. I think
Yeah.
you know what you want. If you want to save
Yeah.
time, you're gonna spend the money on it. It's not even splurging at. It's just like a good investment. So
Yeah, because I can ultimately, the more time you have, the more you can go make something of it.
yeah.
For me, that's kind of my approach. So if I can do that, I can go find a way to make more money, hopefully, and or just enjoy the free time that I do have. So
Yeah.
I think it's worth it.
Yeah. I totally agree. I think it's all. I guess this all comes down to what do you value and spend on that. That's it's really that simple. You know, it doesn't make sense to spend on what you don't value. So cut everything out. Cut. I would say a good kind of trial you can do is cut everything out of your budget. Like try to trim it down as much as you can, and then start to realize what you actually want back in the budget, and that'll tell you what you really value. You know, if
It's
you
pretty
are
smart.
yeah, if you cut out everything and then you're like, man, I really miss going out to restaurants on Friday nights. Bring that back in your budget, you know. It
Mm,
just and keep everything else cut out, you know. So it's a good kind of thing to try out if you're looking to see what you really value.
hmm No,
But
I'm with you on that. That's a really good idea. I've never thought about that.
yeah, that should have been my simple money tip, but I'll think of another one.
Yeah, think of something else. Yeah.
No, but I think yeah, this is a crucial topic, and you know, this is
Yeah.
it's going to be a shorter episode, but
Mhm.
just because it's so simple, you know,
Yeah.
it really is. You know, figure out
Mhm.
what you really value.
So something I talk about a lot is like focus on those big ticket items.
Yes.
Take care of your investments. Pay off your debt. Keep your mortgage payment reasonable. If you can do these things, take care of the big ticket items, you can enjoy a lot of other parts of your life just so much more because you don't have to worry about the other thing. If all those
Exactly.
portions that I just mentioned are reasonable, you can spend more on the things you love and still be okay financially. But if you're spending half your income on your mortgage, you have a bunch of debt, you're and it's going to be really hard to do anything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're going to put your trip on a credit card, and it's just life's going to be a lot harder financially. So if you take care of the big ticket items, you don't have to worry about a lot of other things. And like I often see it that people they don't take care of the big ticket items, but then they try to cut out Starbucks and Netflix and
Right.
all
Right.
these little things. I'm like your car is
It's backwards.
your
Yeah.
car is $1,000 a month. That $10 subscription doesn't move the needle. It doesn't do anything.
Exactly. Exactly.
You need to focus on the things that really set you up in a good position, and then you don't have to worry about all those little things. You can have Netflix, Hulu, Prime. You can have everything if you want, if you're taking care of the big ticket items, and you can go spend money on what you love to.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's such a good point to bring up. Like, if you're spending half your income on rent and you're trying to save money by cutting out morning coffees, it's so backwards. It doesn't make sense. You're saving
Mhm.
$3 but spending 2 grand. It's just not going to move the needle, like Ryan said. So I think that's a very big and essential point to bring up. So yeah, let's transition into the simple money tips. We do this at the end of every episode. So my simple money tip, and we were talking about this a little bit earlier, but yeah, spending on those efficiencies, spending on something that'll save you time, and something I just gotta call out. And I don't want to be some preacher, but I love Apple products, and I know Ryan does too. And I know Greg, if he was here, he would be tuned to Apple too. But we all love Apple, and I actually recently bought a MacBook. It was like $1,200. It's an expensive MacBook, but the AirDrop is literally such a game changer. I can AirDrop everything from my Mac straight to my iPhone, and it's
That's
seamless. It saves so much time. I don't have to like use a chip reader or card or like import, export,
Dropbox,
whatever. Yeah,
Google Drive.
Dropbox. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like I love AirDrop so much. Like I probably would have paid $1,200 just to use AirDrop. It's just so funny. But the iMessage, the just everything, the Apple ecosystem. We've talked about it before. I really wish Greg were here for this, but yeah, spend on those efficiencies because these products have saved me so much time. And it was expensive, but I am recouping that investment, tenfold. So make sure, yes, look for those efficiencies in your budget and spend on those. So I think that's my simple money tip.
Yeah, I love it. Definitely. I guess mine would be, I'm going to just kind of summarize what we talked about,
Yeah.
Figure out, obviously take care of the big ticket items in your budget, pay yourself first with investing, keep your mortgage reasonable, pay off your debt. If you can take care of these things, everything else in your budget will, fall into place. The next tip is, obviously we're talking that you're on a budget. So this is a prerequisite that you have a budget, right? If you don't, I would highly recommend, having some sort of high level budget at least. But then, figuring out what you love and then spending money on that, put it in your budget and then cut out what you don't like. If you don't care about something, don't spend money on it. You're just at that point, you're just wasting money. If it doesn't add value to your life, if I was driving if I was paying $1,000 a month for a car, I really think it'd be a waste of money for me because I don't enjoy cars.
Right. Yeah.
But I like cars, but I don't like it that much. If I was spending $1,000 on a month on, I don't know, on ingredients to cook really nice food, I wouldn't like that because I don't like cooking. But you see what I mean here. But if it was travel, if I spent $1,000 on travel or whatever amount on travel and conveniences and time efficiencies, it's worth it to me. So figure out what in your budget you love and then spend on that, cut out what you don't care about and take care of the big ticket items and everything else will fall into place. If you're cutting the small items, expecting it to move the needle, it's really going to be hard if you have, a big elephant that's holding you down. So take care of the elephant and you'll do well. So that's my simple money tip / summary of the episode.
Yes.
Very cool. So I guess that about wraps up our episode today.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. Yeah. As always, we are the Simple Money Guys, making money simple for you. My name is John at Johnny Finance.
I'm Ryan, the Money CEO on social. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you again next week.
Thank you everybody for listening. As always, give us a follow on Instagram at The Simple Money Guys, subscribe to us on YouTube, and be sure to tune in because we have new episodes coming every week.